Aloha!
Aloha! We just got home Monday from Hawaii. It was absolutely fabulous. We had such a great time. Other than the flight there and the flight home, those flights are brutal. They're 10 hours. And there's, you get so tired and you get so uncomfortable. And we took the red eye home. We left LA about, what was it, 10 o'clock?
10:30
at night, and we got to Raleigh-Durham at 6:30 in the morning. Then there was something wrong with the baggage thing, so we had to wait an hour for the baggage. And, you know, when you've flown all that way and you just want to get home. I was like so done with traveling, so done with airports, so done with it all. But anyway, we're home safe and sound. So last week at this time, I don't know where we were. Thursday we went to the luau. I don't know where we went. We might have went to the
We did something in the morning.
it was we went on that boat tour, I think.
Boat tour?
Yeah, we went on the boat down the river, the white.
Oh, yeah.
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 So we thought we'd just tell you a little bit about Hawaii, because I don't have a guest and I'm not really super prepared because
I'm chopped liver.
You know what I mean. I don't have a medical guest. So I got on I think they're kua beads or kiki beads or some kind of bead. And these were used in Hawaii. They have oil in them. They're edible, but if you eat too many of them, it acts kind of like a laxative. So they don't eat them anymore, and they don't really use them for oil anymore. But back in the day when it was, you know, before they had electricity and were had all the new people there and all the modern facilities and all that, they would use the oil for fires and that kind of thing. So the Hawaiian history is very interesting. I learned a lot. They have some of the hardest words to pronounce. You know, they have all these vowels in them, but
They get the same number of vowels that
their
do.
vowels don't have the same sounds as our vowels do. So when you look at something that has a and an I, it's really a and a E, I think. I don't know. I can't remember.
And
so
they
anyway,
only have 13 letters in their alphabet.
yeah. So, but it was really interesting. It was a lot of fun. We went to this place called the Grand Canyon of the Pacific.
Awesome.
And it was really, really beautiful. It was every bit as nice as the Grand Canyon, because, you know, when you look at the Grand Canyon, which is much, much bigger than this little Grand Canyon of the Pacific, but, you know, when you're standing on the side looking, it was just absolutely gorgeous. And when you go to the Grand Canyon in Arizona, you're only going to see a small portion of it if you stand on the side. You know, there's the north rim and the south rim, and you can
The big ditch.
the big ditch, yeah. But anyway, this was really beautiful. I took gobs and gobs of pictures of flowers because I love flowers. So I don't know if I'm going to remember all the names. Probably not. Some of them I never even knew. But it was really beautiful. I think my favorite island was Hawaii.
Yeah. I thought it was the other one.
First it was Hawaii. Well, it was
The one that was all green.
Kauai. Yeah, Kauai. That I liked, and Hawaii I liked. I didn't really like Maui, but we went to the volcanic national park. So it's kind of brown and dry, and every island has a wet side and a dry side. So we saw the dry side of Maui. I didn't see the wet side of Maui, whereas it's all the green lush and the flowers and that kind of thing. We didn't see that. We had some friends that were on the boat with us, and they took a tour called the Road to Hana, and that, she said, was really beautiful. But it's up a mountain, so you go like this. And I don't know if I could have done that the first day I was there, because I was so tired.
They said it was pretty scary because lots of switchbacks, and there's no guardrails, and it drops off 1,000 feet, and you look out the window like that and you don't see anything under you. I'd be scared.
Yeah, we did that in Hawaii. I mean, in Italy, though.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the same thing, going up mountains and a sheer drop all the way down. So, anyway, it was really beautiful. If anybody can afford to go, it is not cheap. It's $20 for breakfast.
Yeah.
And
Gas was
$5.39.
$5.39 a gallon. Because everything has to be shipped in.
Right.
And then it's, from one island to the next. And the cruise that we went on, we saw 5 islands in 7 days, but there's a lot more islands than that.
Yeah. So
what you reading?
I took a lot of notes in my phone. So we went to Maui, Oahu, Hawaii, Hawaii. I already said Hawaii. And what was that last one we were on? I didn't like that one. Oahu. That's where Waikiki Beach was. I didn't even write down all the islands that we visited. We visited 5 islands in 7 days, so it was really super nice. We had a great time. I've never been on a cruise, so there was a couple things that were interesting to me, not necessarily bad, but I didn't think we'd be able to feel when we were moving, but I could. Everybody could, for that matter. We met up with 4 other couples that we go on a Navy reunion trip once a year, and this was like a special edition of the Navy reunion trip. So there was 4 other couples, and they all said the same thing. We were eating dinner one night, and they said, "Oh, we started moving." Oh, okay. So we started out in Oahu because that's where Honolulu is. I thought Honolulu was on the Big Island, but it isn't. It's on Oahu. And so we went from Oahu, we went to Kauai.
Maui first. Can you read?
Oh.
Buy her books, send her to school.
Well, it says
She makes me stay home and do the dishes.
Kaluhi. I don't know what those towns are. But anyway, we didn't go to Lanai, and there was one other little island.
Molokai.
There's a
go to
whole.
Molokai.
There's I don't know. There's like 30 islands or something. But the biggest ones are Hawaii, and we went to both Kona and Hilo, and I loved both of those places. Maui we didn't see the wet side, like I said. Then we went to Oahu, and that's where Waikiki Beach is, and Honolulu, which is just another big city. I don't really like big cities, and this was very typical. And then Kauai, from Kauai back to Hawaii, and it was just great. But the big city, there's a lot of homeless there, and Waikiki Beach, apparently, this is what we were told by a bus driver, that there's really a bad drug problem there now, and so they have a lot of homeless. And just right on our hotel on the side of the road, we saw 2 and 3 people just laying on the street, and not in the street, but laying on the sidewalk. All you have on is shorts. They were, didn't have any shirts on, didn't have any shoes on.
One guy had a dog.
one guy had a dog, and he made sure he had a big umbrella, and he covered the dog during the day because it gets. I thought it got hot, not terrible, but it was pretty warm.
Mid 80s.
One day, well, we had to walk a lot because we didn't have a car or anything. Obviously, we were on a cruise ship, and so. And then you get on these excursions, and the bus would take you where you're going. But then if you visited a coffee plantation, or we visited this painted church, I'll tell you about that in a minute. But so we walked 3 and 4 miles a day, and my feet hurt so bad. Oh, I tell you, did yours hurt too? Your back hurt more than your feet hurt.
My back hurt, and Heather this morning said my feet were swollen.
Yeah, mine have been swollen too, but I think that's probably from sitting for, well, basically we sat for 8 hours because it was 5 hours to LA, and then we were only on our feet for 25 or 30 minutes. We walked from one terminal to another one and stood and ate some food that was out of a vending machine. It was bleh, but we were hungry because they don't feed you on the airplanes anymore. You get a drink and a cracker. That's about it.
Cracker, a little bag of pretzels, and
yeah. So we were hungry, but anyway. So when you sit like that, your feet swell up. So mine have been swollen too. But we're getting back on track. I'm going back to the office tomorrow. I'm excited about that. I'm ready to get back to work. I'm ready to get back in a routine. It was great. It was wonderful. And now it's time to get back and do what I do best, which is being a nurse practitioner. So.
Oh, yeah. You didn't say about the chickens.
Oh, there was chickens everywhere.
Everywhere.
Every island. And they're all free range. Nobody eats them. Nobody kills them. I don't know if they get the eggs from them or not, but they were everywhere.
Yeah. Feral cats, feral chickens.
Yeah, I didn't see too many cats.
The cats don't bother the chickens, is what they said. But the chickens were brought there originally when the British and the Portuguese and the Italians and all the Europeans came and sailed, and they needed food, so they had chickens on the ships. And when they got there, they brought the chickens on the island and didn't take them with them when they left.
And they also brought pigs, and they also brought goats, and they brought cows.
Yeah, they have feral hogs there.
Yeah, wild hogs, yeah. But one thing that was interesting, the Hawaiian word for goat is cow, K-A-U. And I forget what the Hawaiian word for cow is pipi. Yeah, P-E-P-E, pipi. And they got it when I think he said it was Captain Cook, when he brought these animals back. The interpreter said he was bringing a cow and a goat. Well, the goat came first, but they called it cow, K-A-U, and so then the cow came second, and they called it pee-pee. So there's a lot of cattle ranching there. One thing I was surprised at was there at which island was it that had the river? Anyway, they had a river. I didn't expect to have a river when you're surrounded by the ocean.
River.
Yeah, the rest were smaller, but it's from the rainwater that comes down from the mountains. And those mountains, one we went to was 3,400 feet above sea level, so they're pretty good size. I thought it was interesting too. They have a lot of solar panels, and when we went to the what did you call that big hole?
The canyon?
Yeah,
the
Grand Canyon of the Pacific. They had a ATM machine there, and it was powered by electricity. They had a small little solar panel just fit right on top of the ATM machine, and that's all they had, because they don't have a lot of electricity in some of those places. They're still pretty rural and pretty sparse. But anyway, we had a great time, and thanks for letting us yap a little bit about our trip. So I was going to talk today, I wanted to talk about estrogen dominance, which is just what it sounds. You have too much estrogen.
Yes, dear.
And this happens to women probably anywhere between their late 30s and mid 50s. It's a precursor to menopause. And I just wanted to talk about some of the symptoms we have, excuse me, from hormone imbalance. And estrogen is dominant. You have too much of it. And they don't know for sure, but they think it's when the body transitions into perimenopause, which is the time before menopause. And menopause is defined as not having a menstrual cycle for 12 months. So you might go 9 months, 11 months, and not have a cycle. But if you have one in that 12-month period, then you got to start all over again. But anyway, the theory is that the body produces less progesterone, and that's the hormone that supports the uterus during pregnancy, but keeps producing the same level of estrogen, and that causes imbalance that has some very unpleasant symptoms. So some of the symptoms is mood swings. You know, us women can get to be pretty irritable and pretty moody. And
Yes,
a lot
dear.
of that is because of, the mood will change quickly. You can go from up to down and like that. My friend that comes on the show with me sometimes says that she was so irritable she could bite the head off of a nail. So mood swings are bad. Irritability is, it kind of secondary to the mood swings. But you can have more irritability than normal. I mean, everybody has bad days, right? But any husband who lives with a perimenopausal woman knows that it's more than that. You could have worsening premenstrual syndrome symptoms, breast tenderness, headaches, acne, flare-ups, mood changes, and then irregular menstrual cycles, heavy periods, bloating. A lot of women come to me and say, I'm so bloated, I feel like I'm 9 months pregnant. And one of the big ones that really bothers women is weight gain. And I missed that one. I'll go back to it. Weight gain is really annoying for a lot of women. They don't change their exercise, they don't change the way they eat, and they can put on 10, 15, 20 pounds. And most of it's all through your middle section, which even makes it worse for women. You could have a decreased sex drive because of too much estrogen. Anxiety is another big one. Women with too much estrogen experience anxiety and can have panic attacks. There's a difference between anxiety and worrying about things that most people do. Anxiety is more of a general feeling, while worries are about specific things. So you can just feel kind of jittery or anxious inside and not know why. And it could be from the estrogen dominance. Anxiety can also cause physical symptoms. You can feel like you're having a you can feel like you're having a heart attack. You can feel like you can't breathe. You might hyperventilate, and then you get numbness in your fingers and your toes and even in your arms and your lips. So that can be a problem. Hair loss is another big problem with this estrogen dominance and perimenopause. And I had a woman that was so upset about hair loss, and we all have something that we're vain about, whether it's gray hair and you got to color it, whether you got wrinkles and you want to use Botox. But this lady, her vanity laid in her hair, and she said she had always had a nice head of hair, and she really was so upset that she lost it. And I talked to her about all of this, but when you do the natural way of treating hormones, there's no insurance, and it's expensive, and a lot of people can't afford it. and trouble sleeping. Sleeping is really gets worse during menopause and estrogen dominance. Fatigue, you can really get tired, and you just don't feel like you want to do anything. You're drained of energy. You go to bed tired, you wake up tired. I hear a lot of that from women too. All right, we're going to take our first break, and then when we come back, I'll finish talking about the symptoms of fatigue of estrogen dominance, and some of the things that we can do if you can't afford to do the estrogen hormone replacement. I mean, there is synthetic hormones, and I'll talk about that too. But we'll take our first break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about that. So, and if you have any questions about anything, not just this, give me a call at 407-1111. See you back in just a minute.
When faced with special care needs for elderly or disabled loved ones, families want compassionate, comforting care. That's Tender Touch Home Care Services' goal, providing the level of care we would expect for our own. With over 10 years of home care excellence, Tender Touch provides an array of services that keeps your loved one at home. From personal care, light housekeeping, errands, and meal preparation, to our private duty care program, which combines all of our home care offerings in one package.
Tender Touch Home Care Services, where your needs are our concern.
Hi, I'm Richard Koss, pharmacist and owner of Almonds Drug Store here in Rocky Mount. Here today with my wife and 2 daughters. For over 75 years, Almonds Drug Store has been the pharmacy of choice for residents of Edgecombe and Nash County. Our family is proud to call Rocky Mount home, and we are excited about the new services and products we are adding daily at both of our Almonds Drug Store's locations and also at our medical supply store.
Come in and see us at Almonds Medical Supply. We're an extension of Almonds Drug Stores, your local hometown pharmacy. We're here to service all your needs, from wheelchairs to walkers to orthopedic supports to compression hose to hard-to-find wound care supplies. And you'll always get that hometown customer service.
We want our patients to pay the best prices, get the best service available, and have a better pharmacy experience than they will get anywhere else. Our staff is committed to going above and beyond to meet our patients' needs. Whether it is working with your provider to get you the best medication at the best price, contacting your provider to get you refills or a prior authorization, or taking the time to review each of your medications with you personally, or perhaps even helping you find an old-time remedy or other hard-to-find items, your Almonds Drug Store staff will work hard to meet your pharmacy needs. At Almonds, we will deliver your prescriptions for free. Both of our stores have drive-through windows, we guarantee short wait times, and our pharmacists will come out to greet you personally and answer any questions you have. If you want to be met with a smiling face, or even want someone to greet you by name when you walk through the doors, we are the pharmacy for you.
Call Almonds Drugs today.
443-3138 or 446-0014.
All right, we're back. So we were talking about estrogen dominance. Yes. You know what? I don't think I even introduced myself the first section. I've done this for so long, I just assume everybody knows who I am. Anyway.
Who are you?
My name is Linda Prezioso. This is my husband, Bob. And I am a nurse practitioner at Family Medical Center. I also run and own a Medi-Spa, and a Medi-Spa is similar to a day spa as far as you could have nails done, or you could have massage therapy, or you could have facials done, that kind of thing. But you also can obtain medical procedures. And so I give injections for energy, I give injections for weight loss, and then I do this bioidentical hormones as well. So that's what a Medi-Spa is, and that's my new passion. I've been at Family Medical for 10 years. I love what I do, but I'm getting to the point that I kind of want to slow down a little bit. So I don't, he says, no, I have to work till I'm 80, but anyway. if we want to keep going to trips like Hawaii, I got to keep working because that was expensive.
Yeah.
It was probably $10,000 when it was all said and done.
You can go up from there
I don't want to go up farther than that.
because I paid for the excursions and that was
Okay.
almost
Don't-
3,000.
Ugh. Anyway, and then I come home and my car died. So I knew it was on its last legs. It's a 2004 Hyundai Elantra. Had 230,000 miles on it, and I was really hoping and praying that I could drive it till about the end of the year. I knew I was going to have to buy a new vehicle. I just had really wanted to save up a little bit more money to put down, to reduce the monthly payment. But we were on our way to our granddaughter's tennis match yesterday afternoon, and we got about 2 miles from the house, and the car cut off and wouldn't go back on. And fortunately, we are on a downhill, and so we rolled into the Red Oak
Town
Hall and parked it there. And our son was just 2 miles down the other way because he was watching our granddaughter play as well. So he came and got us. And so now Bob's got to cart me everywhere because we're down to one vehicle. We can borrow one from a friend. So it's just, I did buy a new one today, and a shout out to Rocky Mount Toyota. They took really good care of me. I appreciate that. I bought a brand new one. I don't know that we haven't had, did we buy that Chevy Love pickup new?
In 78, yes.
Okay, that's the last time we bought it.
No, we had the van that we bought new from Rondine's.
We
to
bought
service
that new? Okay.
Yeah,
So this is my third vehicle,
new.
brand new. I've always, the thought is you always buy used cars because it's a better deal. You lose a lot of equity when you drive off the lot when you buy a new car. But everywhere I went, and even a good friend of mine whose dad is a car salesman in Iowa said, do not buy the used ones. They're not a good value. Buy new. So when I get it in 12 days or so, it will have 3 miles on it. So it's got all the bells and whistles, I've been driving a 20-year-old car for 3 years. So
It was only 18 years old.
18-year-old car for 3 years. So, it did have a radio, and it had
Air conditioning.
It had air conditioning, and it had a disc because
CD player.
I listen to books on tape, so wasn't the cassette tapes anymore. But anyway, that's about it. So this is going to have all the bells and whistles, and I'm pretty excited, and I'll be really excited until I have to make my first payment. Then I won't be so excited anymore. So anyway, and then our coffee maker died. I got up this morning to make coffee, and it wouldn't work. I don't know which I was more upset about, the car or the coffee.
The coffee.
Because I'm a big coffee drinker, and I love coffee first thing in the morning. Fortunately, we have a Keurig, and so I got that. So after we bought the new car, then we went to Ollie's and bought a new coffee maker. But the thing is, this other one, it was a Mr. Coffee, and it's not more than 3 months old. We haven't had it very long. So it was an interesting day on top of being tired and a little grumpy. But anyway.
Little grumpy.
So my name is Linda Prezioso. I'm a nurse practitioner at Family Medical Center. I've done this show for a long time, so I just feel like everybody knows me, but I'm hoping that I have new audience, and I'm kind of pushing a little bit more towards some of the younger men and women, because we're going to talk about low testosterone here in a minute, which is that's the male version of the hormone problem. So, but let's finish up with the estrogen dominance, or perimenopause, or the very beginning of menopause. I think we talked about trouble sleeping. We talked about fatigue. Now, fatigue is, there's other ways or reasons that you have that you have fatigue. It's not just from hormones. So low vitamin D can make you fatigued. If you have low iron, that can make you fatigued.
Walking a long way.
Walking a long way in the heat of the day in Hawaii can make you fatigued and make your feet hurt. Untreated sleep apnea can give you fatigue. Thyroid problems, which is also a hormone, can have you fatigued. So if you go to the doctor and say you're fatigued, he or she's going to run these other tests to make sure that there's not something. Low iron is simple. You can take iron, you buy that over the counter. Low vitamin D is simple. You can buy a supplement over the counter. Thyroid is not quite as simple. You have to have a medicine for that. Sleep apnea is not quite as simple. You have to have a sleep apnea test, and then if that is positive, you have to wear a CPAP or a BiPAP. And those, I don't think I could wear that on my face. I guess if I couldn't sleep, I could, but I like to lay on my side in a fetal position, and that mask would bother me, I'm sure. But anyway, so fatigue can come from other reasons other than a hormone deficiency or an estrogen dominance problem. Of course, fertility with estrogen dominance declines, but this is usually, that starts happening when you're 35, whether you have estrogen dominance or not. The older we get, the less fertile we are. And this is a big one that I have a lot of people complain about, and that's memory problems and mental fog.
What were you talking about?
Pregnancy?
Oh, mental fog.
Yeah, mental fog. So if you have problems recalling details or putting your thoughts in order, you could have an imbalance of hormones. And I hear a lot of people come and they're so worried. Excuse me, I haven't recovered from all the loss of sleep yet. But a lot of people come in, and the only thing I know of other than hormone imbalance for memory problems, they all think they've got dementia or Alzheimer's or something, and some do, but a lot of times it's a hormone imbalance, and mental fog is also a big one for hormone imbalance. So I had a very sad, right before I went on vacation, I've treated this lady for about 10 years, and she's always been with it and on top of it, and a very smart dresser, and is a good cook and does a lot of things and keeps active and keeps her weight down and all that. But her husband called and said he wanted to talk to me before I saw his wife. And so I said, okay. And they had been on vacation, and she didn't realize that she was with her husband. She was thinking back to when he was her boyfriend. And she was very worried because she said, what are my children going to think? They're going to think that I'm cheating on their dad because I'm with my boyfriend. She didn't realize that she'd been married to him for 45 years. So that was very heartbreaking for this man, and he was just beside himself. And the sad thing about dementia is there's not a whole lot we can do. I put her on some medicine that does not cure dementia, but it supposedly stops it from progressing, and referred her to a brain center at Duke, and referred her to a local neurologist, because all of our specialists, they're specialists for the specialists. And Carol is like 72 or 73, so it's worse when you develop Alzheimer's when you're like in your 50s. So it's not quite so bad for her. And also her mother had dementia. So, but I felt really bad for the husband because they'd have, she'd get real freaked out. Why are you here? Why are you living with me? Where's my husband? Where are my children? Because that's where her brain is way back 45 years ago. So, so that's kind of a typical day for our symptoms for dementia or Alzheimer's. And my mom had dementia, and we didn't really notice it until after my dad died. And the neurologist said that a lot of times it's a trauma of some sort that triggers it. He said she was probably having symptoms all along, but you didn't really notice it. But after my dad died, then we really noticed it. And like she lived near us. I'm an only child, so she was close to me, so I could help take care of her. And like she always baked bread. I never ate a bought loaf of bread in my entire growing up. She always made bread. Well, she made bread for supper that night, but she'd forgotten to put salt in. Just simple little things like that. Not really, you'd say, oh, well, everybody forgets that sometimes. And that's true, we do. But, that I just started noticing more and more of that because, I knew then that there was something wrong. Matter of fact, my aunt, her sister, called me, and when Bob and I moved here, we traveled across country with our 3 kids. And so my mother stayed with her sister until we got here so I could send for her to come and live here with us. And my aunt called and she said, you've got to do something about your mother. She's going down my cellar downstairs looking for Cal, who was my dad. And my dad had passed away probably a year, maybe 2 years before that. Well, Dad died in 84, and we moved here in 85, so about a year. And so,
Year and a half.
it was pretty tough for my aunt. It was pretty tough for me. It was pretty tough for Bob and my kids at one point, because our youngest one was still in diapers, and I was changing his pants, and Mom made a mess in hers. And so I said, okay, Mom, let me finish here with Philip, and you go in the shower and, take your clothes off and start the shower, and I'll come in and help you. And she couldn't remember to turn the shower on, so she was crouching under the spigot, bless her little heart. So anyway, enough about memory problems and dementia, but that is a real problem with hormone imbalance, is memory problems and mental fog. And then, of course, everybody has heard of and probably still experiences, and I don't know when these things all go away, but that's hot flashes and night sweats. And like I said, hormone replacement can help alleviate those symptoms. So some of the things that you can do, and I found this very interesting, that estrogen dominance may also cause thyroid dysfunction. Thyroid's a hormone too. And thyroid dysfunction can cause weight gain and hair loss. So, you got different ways that you got to look and see what to do and how to do it. But anyway, I'm going to take our next break, and if I have time, I want to go into the low testosterone for men, and then if I have time, I'll talk about foods and things that we can do naturally to help with the estrogen dominance and the low T for that matter. So we'll have our next break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Don't go away.
Come celebrate our 20th anniversary with us and see how we can help with your hearing challenges and hearing care. To celebrate this monumental occasion, when you buy a pair of Livio 1600 series hearing aids or higher, you get 1 hearing aid for free because it helps to have a spare of equal or lesser value. We know how inconvenient it is to have your hearing aids serviced, maintained, and repaired without a spare. As a community provider, we are focused on individualized care as personalized as your fingerprint. We build relationships with our patients and believe that is the only way to provide the quality of service that has kept us in business for more than 20 years. We have grown and stood the test of time while embracing technological advances and innovations in our industry. We couldn't do it without all of you.
You don't know what anybody can do for you until you have a problem. And when you have a problem, is how the person works through that problem that makes them effective, makes them beneficial in your life. I get involved in a lot of activities at our church. And with the music and things that are going on, I'm going to my noisy setting quite a few times, and then depending upon who's speaking, I may be going to what they call a theater setting, which is a higher level, and so you have to negotiate. You only have, in my case, I only have like 3 different levels now. She does have some technology. We have some different volume controls. I don't use that, and I have to work with her, and rather than having to come back to the office, it's easier for me to call her wherever she's at, and we'll set us up a time, and then she will readjust my hearing aids over the telephone, which works real good. And I've used that quite frequently. But usually once you get set up, you don't typically have to change much. And a lot of times people don't want to go through the pain of the setup process, but if you don't spend the time in the setup process, you're not going to have the long-term results.
We are thankful to our faithful customers and look forward to many more years of service to our community.
I would say patients, they say it for us. You know, they refer people to us all the time, and they're not going to refer if they're not happy with you. If they don't think you're going to take care of their friend or their family member, they're going to shut right up. They're not going to say anything. And I've built my business on 75% referrals.
We offer convenient financing, layaway, and many pay options to ensure that our customers have comfortable experience getting quality equipment, reliable service you can depend on, and the product that fits both your physical and financial needs. Please visit our website, downeasthearingcare.com. Don't miss out. Schedule your appointment today. This month, we would like to invite you to our VIP 20th Anniversary Open House Hearing Healthcare event. During this event, we are offering 1 free Livio RIC hearing aid with the purchase of 2 Livio MRIC devices per person. Receive an expert, no-obligation hearing consultation and free product demonstration. This limited-time offer is available at our local hearing clinics. Get answers to all hearing-related questions. You can reach our convenient locations in Knightdale at 919-500-7455 or Rocky Mount at 252-378-2018.
Okay, I gotta zip through now. I've been talking so much about other stuff. You know, I go down rabbit trails. I'm bad about rabbit trails. So anyway,
Memory loss
I want to
and
talk
thought.
about low testosterone because it's really a big problem for guys, probably starting again like in their late 30s, 40s, 50s. And you know, it's called male hypogonadism, and it's because the body quits producing quite so much testosterone. And there's different symptoms. Of course, you lose some testosterone as we age, we know that. But, and testosterone is the main androgen. It stimulates the development of male characteristics. It's essential for sperm production, and that's really what causes a lot of problem for fellas, is that they can't perform in the bedroom like they used to, and that's really it's upsetting for the married couple, because that's an important part of their married lives. So testosterone is, you know, of course, with your sex organs, but also it's, you know, you have to have enough of that for good muscle mass, and you can tell you've lost muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And adequate levels of red blood cells. It's good for bone density for both men and women. Your sense of well-being. You can get depressed from having low T. So, you know, it can really cause a lot of problems, and not just in the sex area, but like I said, for
Tiring.
you get tired, you're depressed. Low testosterone affects us as we age. It's worse on people with obesity. If you have poorly managed type 2 diabetes, that can be a problem. Sleep apnea is a problem, and you know, then other like chronic kidney disease or cirrhosis of the liver can cause low testosterone too. But we're not going to talk about all that. We're just going to talk about the ordinary guy, because it really is a lot of problem.
Hey.
There you go, an ordinary guy right here.
Me and the
and
Fonz.
Huh?
Me and the
Fonz. Now
Fonz.
you're really aging yourself.
Oh.
Bob. So, like I said, the symptoms include low sex drive, erectile dysfunction, loss of armpit hair or pubic hair, shrinking testicles, hot flashes, and it can cause male infertility because it can reduce the amount of sperm that you produce. Depressed mood, difficulty with concentration and memory, increased body fat because we have less muscle mass, enlarged breast male tissue, decreased muscle strength and mass, and a decrease in endurance. And as some of you guys are sitting out there going, yeah, that's what I got. Yep, that's it. So, those are the causes. We don't need to go in the causes. We don't need to go into the secondary.
Now, this is hypo. Can you have hyper?
I've never heard of that.
Oh, okay.
Not in testosterone.
No, okay. You have the estrogen?
You can have too low estrogen, or you can have too high estrogen, but I've never heard that for testosterone in men.
Okay.
So, you know, if you have all those symptoms, you need to go talk to your doc. And they can do some blood tests. So there's different ways to treat low testosterone. I think these are safer than the synthetic drugs that are made for women. You know, I don't like a lot of synthetic drugs. I like natural things. But they have some skin gels that you apply it kind of like you would a deodorant. That's called like not estrogel. Oh, I can't remember. And you can get injections of testosterone into your. You get those once every 2 to 4 weeks. Usually, you can have somebody that you know. I could write you a prescription for the medicine, and you could have somebody give you the shots, or I have several patients that come in to the office and my nurse gives it to them. There are some testosterone patches, but a lot of people have problems with it adhering and staying, you know, and then they're supposed to last for a couple of days, but you take a shower and they wash off, or you have a reaction to the adhesive. You know, you have that. You have to have paper tape. So I've never given a testosterone patch. Then there's buccal testosterone tablets. These are little pills that you put right here in your mouth and let them absorb into your bloodstream. There's a testosterone nasal gel. I didn't even know there was that. And there's testosterone pellets, and that's what I do at the MediSpa, is insert pellets into men. And I have a patient that
As a man, what you just said can sound frightening.
sounds frightening to a woman too.
Yeah, but I'm thinking when you said that, injecting it, you know, putting that into the penis, it's not.
No, I didn't say that.
No, you didn't say that, but that's the way a man thinks.
No, it doesn't go in your penis.
Because that's what's scary about it.
No, it goes in your derriere though. But anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. So I have a patient. I have a lot of patients, but Eric is
Except with me.
Yeah, that's a different kind of patience. Eric is, he had a lot of problems with low testosterone, a lot of fatigue, lack of energy. He just couldn't hardly put one foot in front of the other. And so he tried the gels, they didn't work. He tried the injections, they would work, but you get a big bunch of it to begin with, and then it tapers off, and by the end of the 2 weeks, you feel just absolutely terrible. So I talked to him about doing pellets, and he decided he would try that. And the injection site was a little sore, he said, for a couple of days. Nothing that was horrible, but you know, like if he leaned his hip against a wall, it was a little sensitive. And first couple of nights, it hurt. It bothered him to lay on that side. I haven't seen him for a couple weeks now because I've been on vacation. But the last time I saw him, which was right before I left to go to Hawaii, he said, "Yep, I'm feeling better. When I get off work, I'm going to the gym." And I said, "The gym?" He said, "Yeah, you've never heard me say that before, have you?" And I said, "No, sir, I have not." So that's what it can do for you. It can make you feel 100% better to the point you want to, you can even lose some weight because you're doing more. You're not so tired. So, you know, he said, every night I go home and I'm doing something. My wife has noticed it. My daughter has noticed it, that I am not just sitting around, that I am actually getting up and moving. So, the pellets seem to work really well in men, better than the things that you can get even compounded seem to work better from my experience, which is limited. I will say it's limited. I haven't been doing this very long, so I'm not an expert and I'm not a guru. But those are some of the things that you can do for low testosterone. So things that you can do to prevent it, which I don't know that you can't stop yourself from aging, that's for sure. Eating a healthy diet, and I wrote down the foods that you can eat and the foods you should stay away from. If I can find my hand scratching. Nope.
You had those notes written on
Where
something.
did I do with them? Oh, here they are. So, foods that help increase your testosterone level: onions, garlic. You like that? They have a plant chemical called flavonoids, and that helps testosterone production. Protein: beef, chicken, fish, eggs, tofu, nuts, seeds. And when you don't eat enough of those foods, your body, sorry, I got an itchy eye. I'm back to allergies now that I'm back to North Carolina. I didn't have that much problem when I was on the ocean. But when you eat and drink those foods, your body makes a substance that binds with testosterone, so you have more testosterone available to do its job in your body. Vitamin D is a natural testosterone booster. Magnesium blocks the protein from binding with testosterone, making you having more testosterone in your blood. And zinc helps the body make testosterone. It also helps increase your immune system. And I didn't realize this. This I learned. Pomegranate juice lowers stress hormones, which is cortisol, and then that increases your sex hormones and it decreases your blood pressure. So instead of getting that glass of orange juice in the morning with your cereal, we ought to start drinking some pomegranate juice. I've never drank it. I don't know if it's any good or not. We'll have to try it.
Yes, dear.
And then, of course, you should eat a Mediterranean diet, which is just a good, healthy, a lot of plants, lean meats, nothing processed. Processed foods are the absolute worst for you. And you need to drink your water and everything in a glass, not in plastic, because this is BPA free, because plastic can contain bisphenol A, which is called BPA, and that's a carcinogen, and it also can decrease your testosterone. Strength training, to build up those muscles will help with testosterone, and so you have to concentrate more on strength training than you can on cardio. You have to do both, of course, but the cardio is not going to increase your testosterone. The strength training will. So those are some of the foods that you can eat and things you can do to help with the testosterone. So the reason I even got into this is because I talked primarily to women to begin with, and they all had the same complaints of the mood swings, the irritability, and I realized that in order to really help them and to make them feel better, I didn't have the right tools in my toolbox at work. They want me to write synthetic and do the standard medical treatment, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that, and I do that. I don't like synthetic hormones for women for a couple of reasons. One, well, I don't like synthetic drugs, number one. But number two is they are metabolized in your liver, which can cause blood clots. The chemical forms of the estrogen and those kind of things can increase breast cancer and increase other problems, as well as helping with like osteoporosis, osteopenia. But and there's just the synthetics have so many more side effects, and the natural hormones don't. They're hormones that are extracted from plants. They're extracted from soy, and they're extracted from yams. And so the hormones are extracted out of the plants, and then they go through some chemical process, and you either get them in the form of a cream, which you can apply twice a day for women, and I'm not sure about, it's probably twice a day for guys as well for the cream. Or you can do the pellets for both the women and the men, and that I've had really good success with that. I've had pretty good success with the creams too. I can't say that I haven't. So I can test you either saliva, or I can test you with serum, drawing your blood. So anyway, that's why I did this, because I really wanted to help these women with their horrible symptoms, because I know what they're like, because I've lived through it, and so I wanted to be able to help them as much as possible. So that's how I got into it in the first place, and I'm pretty happy. Most of my patients are happy with their results. I've had a couple that weren't, and most of them were because they were still on something that had been given to them by another doctor, and if you have too much of something, it's just as bad as not enough of. So anyway, that's estrogen dominance and low testosterone, along with mood swings and brain fog, memory problems, and the like. So I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for being here.
Mahalo.
Mahalo. Aloha means hello. Mahalo is thank you. Those are the only two Hawaiian words I really remember. But I did write them in my phone. Oh yeah, cow, K-A-U is the goat, and pee-pee is the cow. I remember those two. All right, it's good to see you, and I will see you next week with more Here's to Your Good Health. Good night. Stay tuned for Randy's. I saw him come in the door. Good night.